Hi, I'm Steve Plach, and I'll be your host for this segment of Nonprofit Spotlight. This is a series of programs we're doing here at CTV that is really bringing some awareness and letting people know some of the nonprofits in town who are really contributing to the community. We're really fortunate to have with us people from Ecology Action today. Kristen Liskey, welcome, and Nayeli Ruiz, welcome, both from Ecology Action. I just wanted to mention that I had worked in the Sentinel building we were talking earlier, and when that was remodeled, revisioned as Ecology Action, it is such a beautiful space, so you're really to be congratulated. We were talking earlier, of course, about you having been with Ecology Action for 16 years, so give us a little of the background and the history of Ecology Action in town.
Sure, thanks, Steve. Well, as many people know in town, we started 45 years ago this year, 2015. Wow. I know. And it was in response to lack of recycling opportunities in town, and also very volunteer run. At the time, they got a small grant from the Sierra Club to pay for gas to truck the recyclables over the hill. So a lot of people remember taking their recyclables, first time they were recycled, to our recycling yards. First behind the bookshop, which the bookshop donated space for that. So again, really rooted in the community. Yep, and then got some space through a land donation on 17th Avenue. So we've really grown tremendously in that time. And since I came on, really, even when I came on 16 years ago, we were still mostly doing recycling in Santa Cruz County. Just starting to get into motor oil and just starting to work in Monterey County. We'd been on and off involved with the Transportation Membership Association, which did bike to work also, which is in its 28th year. Wow. And Ginny Johnson, the director at the time, really had a vision she realized we knew more than just garbage and recycling, we really knew about behavior change programs. So she really helped grow the organization through grants and contracts to the point where it is today. We have about 16 million in annual revenue. We have 100 staff working all over the state. And now we're serving, thousands of businesses and tens of thousands of people annually with our assistance programs, from energy efficiency to water conservation to water quality, and our transportation program.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and part of that was getting into the Sentinel building.
Yeah, absolutely. Well. And Nayeli, we were talking earlier about how you came to work for Ecology Action and a bit of your background. So tell us something about that.
Sure. Like I was saying earlier, going into the environmental field was not something that I had expected for myself, but it was a really pleasant surprise when I did come upon it. I got involved with Ecology Action back in September, so not too long ago, and started part-time, but have been able to grow in my position, and I work mainly in South County, supporting schools, communities that have a large Spanish-speaking parent community, and trying to get them involved in active transportation and seeing the benefits that it has, not only for their kids but for the community, and just also helping build relationships with administration down in South County.
Wonderful. And we were talking about certainly the programs which Ecology Action is renowned for, Earth Day and water and climate change, things like that. But you were talking about how Ecology Action is kind of rebranding itself now a little bit.
Yeah, on our 45th year, folks are welcome to check out our website and check out our new brand. We have a really fun new logo, and I think it really reflects kind of where we've come from and continue. What we really have realized we're best at is just really helping people take action now. Our mission is to help people take action and adopt these things that are already available to us: recycling, reducing your chemical use in your garden, taking the bus or biking to school or work. Because if we all did more of those things, we really could accelerate our response to climate change and the drought. And so with the rebrand, that's our new tagline, is helping people act now. But we've been doing it for 45 years. We finally figured out how to talk about it. And with the fact that climate change wasn't even on the radar when we started, and now it's such an important issue, and we feel like we can make a big impact on that with our transportation and energy and water programs statewide. We want to really continue to expand that impact, working with new partners. We're working with actually the Department of Energy at the national level to show them nationwide how we are able to do our programs here in California. We wanted a brand that sort of both kind of kept our heart and kept the mission of what we do, but also was very contemporary and fun and would engage more new people. So we've got a new look and feel on the website and a new logo, which is really fun.
That's terrific. One of the interesting programs that you have every year, and of course this program is, we're talking about, is evergreen, so it's going to be able to be shown many, many times over the years, let people refresh their recollections of exactly how much work Ecology Action does. But one of the programs that you have is a Bike to Work week, and evidently that's the first week in May every year. I was mentioning that a good friend of mine, Emily Glanville, is with Ecology Action. When I was started as a sanctuary steward years ago at Save Our Shores, she was an outreach coordinator there. Wonderful person. But Naeli, you are involved in the South County in bike youth safety. Tell us about that program. And I think that's really a fascinating and important program.
I'm really excited to be able to be a part of an organization that really goes full circle with our education programs. And two of the programs that I support are Bike Smart, which is a youth bicycle safety program. And pretty much what it looks like is we go into a school mainly targeting 4th and 5th graders because they're getting a little bit older, transitioning to middle school, maybe are going to be riding to school for transportation more often, not using the sidewalks as much, and talk about the importance of safe riding and the skills that they need to be confident cyclists. And then we bring a bunch of our we put out like a street landscape on their blacktop, and it's a really fun event, and kids get to bring their bicycle or borrow our bicycles and ride through this cityscape as if they were out in the city riding their bicycles, and just giving them a safe place to practice their skills and gain confidence. And for South County, a lot of the students down there, you really see a difference when you go from this side of the county down there, and maybe a lot of kids aren't bringing their bicycles, or it's the first time that they're riding. So it's really important to create an encouraging environment for them to learn, and really just planting that seed of excitement around cycling. And something that I like to share with a lot of the students is that I learned how to cycle when I was 20 years old, and I wish that somebody had taught me at a younger age. So it's really exciting for me to go and teach these kids safety. And then the other program that really ties nicely with that is our encouragement programs, where we're at a school site daily, depending on our volunteer base, and giving kids virtual money for every active trip that they scan or zap into the program, and just encouraging them to keep riding, keep walking, keep skating, keep scootering. So
now, are you partnering with some other groups down there in the South County when you're doing this particular program as Ecology Action?
We do partner closely with the Health Service Agency, and they come out and help with the bike rodeos, and they also do helmet fitting and free distribution to the school sites. So as we're encouraging kids to come on their bikes and teaching them how to do it safely, we also want to make sure that they have the proper equipment to do it.
And of course, Bike to Work Week here in Santa Cruz is just a phenomenal event. Come into town, I always see they've got Pacific Avenue blocked off, and also tell us more about the Bike to Work Week.
Yeah, Bike to Work is really exciting. It's actually won a UN award for its programming, and it's in its 28th year this year. And we're up to serving almost 14,000 cyclists between the adult and kid riders, and we raffle off bikes, and anybody that either bikes or walks into work or school that day can take a survey and enter raffles. And if you show up at one of our free breakfast sites, you get often free massage, bike repair, and definitely a free breakfast. So it's really fun activity for the community to kind of incentivize folks. And one of the things that we've learned in those surveys at Bike to Work is almost half the people that come on Bike to Work Day on their bikes are really uncertain about riding on the street in traffic. And that's one of the reasons, as well as all of our school bike programs, that we decided to fiscally sponsor Friends of the Rail and Trail to help them work to accelerate construction of the trail quickly, because it's almost like the capital improvement project for all of our encouragement and incentive programs. We need a place where people can ride off the street away from traffic, and it'll be a 32-mile paved pathway along the rail corridor from Watsonville to Davenport.
Now, was Bike to Work Week, was that an original Ecology Action program that was started?
I think it was started with the Transportation Membership Association, and we sort of have adopted them, and they've now been kind of dissolved as far as having their own board, but I'm not exactly sure about the history of that. Actually, Piet Cannon, our Vice President of Transportation, should be here to answer that.
And maybe now we'll have her on at some point. She can talk about it. But you know, it's a wonderful program. And are you also partnering here locally with what is now called Bike Santa Cruz County when we're doing the Bike to Work? Are they involved in that in some way?
I'm pretty sure that they are. Yeah, they pretty much partner with us very closely, especially on Friends of the Rail Trail outreach.
Right.
They're sit on the Friends of the Rail Trail board, and I do recall seeing them at a lot of the bike events. And the whole thing is pretty amazing because all of those bike breakfast sites, either at the schools or out in the community, are set up entirely by bike. So the day before the event, people are arriving at Ecology Action in droves on bikes with big trailers and loading up tables, and everybody gets up at like 4 in the morning to go set up those breakfast sites. And kids are loading up big things of strawberries, and the whole classroom rides over. So it's quite the event, really a lot of fun.
And of course, one of the signature events in town with which Ecology Action is always associated is Earth Day. And we've got a small clip I think we can run of Earth Day. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll talk about Ecology Action and Earth Day.
Ecology Action, along with the City of Santa Cruz and the County of Santa Cruz, and at the time Save Our Shores, decided to revive Earth Day, because Santa Cruz without Earth Day, I don't know, it's like a fish without water or something. 6,000 people coming out now every year to celebrate and connect and learn more about how to steward our Earth.
Hey guys. How are you?
The Electric Vehicle Alliance is a project of Ecology Action, and they've really helped us to help get some government grants to do some of the outreach that we're doing now, as well as being able to get funding for charging stations throughout the region.
Community? Not been really owe a lot to Ecology Action for helping the county create the whole home composting program. And they organized master composter training.
Composting.
I know. Bike blender.
It's a mulch and compost, so
Do you have batteries that take a charge or no?
And let me turn that down. We were saying earlier that I had first learned of Earth Day and started to participate when I was, and still am, a sanctuary steward of Save Our Shores. And it's just a truly Santa Cruz, wonderful event. Tell us about Ecology Action's engagement with Earth Day and how it became such really a signature event for Ecology Action.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I first came to Ecology Action, the event had kind of died because of the students were running the event. CalPERS and students kind of come and go, so for years it would be strong, and then one year it didn't happen. And we decided to, along with the city and county who get equal credit, the three of our organizations put in countless hours to coordinate the event and solicit business sponsors who also get a lot of credit for making the event happen. And then throughout the years, we've had different nonprofits participate on the volunteer side, because without volunteers manning the weigh stations and setting up the booths and things, we wouldn't make it happen either. This year it was Coastal Watershed Council. In the past, Save Our Shores has been very involved, and of course Bike Santa Cruz doing the bike valet. It truly is a event by the community for the community.
Now, I was going to ask you, because we had done a program a while back on Voices from the Village here with Greg Pepping and the Coastal Watershed Council, and Bruce Van Allen came in talking about reinvigorating the riverway. Is Ecology Action involved in that kind of movement toward getting more recreational use of the riverway, or just more awareness of what a wonderful resource the San Lorenzo River and the levee are?
Yeah, we're really supportive of the San Lorenzo River Alliance, and that's why we invited Coastal Watershed Council to be part of the event this year, so they could not only assist us on the volunteer side, but the river was a theme during the event, and they had a river cleanup, and it really helped to promote their goals under the River Alliance. So yeah, it's an exciting initiative that's happening.
And of course, talking about water, everybody here in Santa Cruz and Santa Cruz County is concerned about water supply and that kind of thing. How is Ecology Action engaging in that particular issue at this point?
Yeah, we are really excited to be actively involved in the local Water Conservation Coalition of Santa Cruz County, and you saw in the Earth Day video Sherry Bryan talking about mulch.
Yes, Sherry is a favorite,
and holding up the Monterey Bay Friendly sign. So our expertise comes out of kind of green gardener and landscape certification programs.
Right.
So for years we've been training professional landscapers in low water use, low chemical, high habitat value landscape installation, and partnering with the Clean Ocean Ocean Friendly program of the Surf Riders and others in the community. We worked to develop a certification for landscapes that basically a checklist you can go through, and if your landscape is capturing rainwater, if it's not using a lot of pesticides, as she said, a lot of mulch to conserve water, low water plants, then you can get it certified as a Monterey Bay Friendly landscape and get that sign up. It's a brand new program we've launched this year, and she was promoting that at the Water Conservation Coalition booth, and with that group, www.watersavingtips.org has Take the Pledge to Save Water. It has lots of tips on how to save water. So we're working with all the water districts in the county who have different water supply needs and messaging, but together do, especially in times of drought when there's calls for 20-25% reductions statewide, they all have similar messaging and empowering people how to reduce water use. And we're just so excited about this because yes, we need to address water use in ag, and yes, we need to consider additional supplies in some places, but there are so many solutions right in our own backyards and in our homes and businesses. Here in Santa Cruz County, we use about half the water, on average 65 gallons per person per day, than the state does, which is about 110 gallons. And you have folks like Sherry and my other friend Heather who are growing teenagers in an eighth an acre of vegetables on 25 gallons a person a day. And they're sophisticated and mindful about it, but they're taking showers and their laundry's clean. So it shows me that with information and assistance programs, we can sure do a lot quickly to respond and make our own solutions happen. So we're excited to be part of that. And that is one of the initiatives going forward that we are going to start to fundraise for also, is to do more work than so far we've been able to do, even with our great partnerships with the water districts.
And Allie, we were talking about your engagement with youth cycling programs and things like that. Moving forward, are you going to be involved in other programs there with Ecology Action, kind of using your skills and knowledge as you go forward?
Well, I hope so, and I know that as depending on our funding, that we do programs and the work grows and develops. So I hope to be sticking around and working on more programs and maybe water programs in the coming years.
Yeah, and I know Ecology Action does so much good work all over the county. It seems as if people really associate it with North County, Santa Cruz, but I know that there's certainly a South County component of that maybe is expanding even now.
Yeah, and so, the Water Conservation Coalition includes City of Watsonville and Pajaro Water Management Agency. We also do promotion for the Green Business Program, which is actually Monterey Bay area wide.
Right.
And, what we actually hope to do with Nayeli is to expand how much work we're doing like hers. One of the key areas we're looking to fundraise and seek private donations to leverage all our public funding and do more with is youth bike safety. For example, we have 45 schools countywide that participate in our Bike to School Day, and yet only 20 of those schools get bike safety training. So there's a lot of kids getting out on the streets without proper bike safety training, and we certainly could be even more schools doing those encouragement and incentive programs. So there's just only so much that the government's able or willing to fund, and so we have goals of working with even more schools in South County and even in North County to help with those kind of programs.
Now, is your work you bilingual, so that you have that skill, that talent, that gift as well? Because I know it's so important, as I have been working with nonprofits, and I don't have the long history as many people do, but I've noticed that there is really more of an effort to include the whole county in programs, and bilinguality is very important. Bridging the cultural differences that people have, I think, is something that has become more of an emphasis, I think, in nonprofits all throughout the county and things. So how about climate change? What are we looking for in climate change, and how is Ecology Action engaging on that? Because as you know, we did, just as an aside, we did a program not long ago, and we had many climate scientists in, and then for some with very dire predictions, and others saying, oh no, we're going to be able to redress this, and with biogenesis and things like that. Where is Ecology Action on that? Because I know that's another thing that is very much associated with the work that Ecology Action does.
Yeah, it's in a way, every single program we do, for the most part, has some sort of greenhouse gas reduction benefit. And where we've decided to put our strategic emphasis is on the things where our strengths can make the most difference. And locally, over half our greenhouse gas emissions come from transportation sector.
Oh my goodness.
We don't have a lot of big manufacturing and things like that. And so really reducing single occupancy vehicle trips is about the most important thing we can do in the Monterey Bay Area to reduce our impact on the climate. And so things like our bike incentive programs, both for youth and for adults, our transportation membership program, which helps employers help their employees carpool, and free bus pass kind of programs, as well as fiscally sponsoring the Friends of the Rail Trail.
Of course, yeah.
And another really exciting one is we are a strong partner in the Monterey Bay Electric Vehicle Alliance. You saw Sharon Saris doing the electric vehicle roadshow there at Earth Day. And we've been involved in helping install over 43 charging stations around the Monterey Bay Area. And when you look at the reductions between an electric vehicle and a fossil fuel vehicle, it's like 75% reduction in emissions. So really continuing to promote electric vehicles is also, so all of those initiatives on our transportation side locally, we feel like are very important, and we've invested in those, and we want to continue to expand those. And where we've been really successful is working with our small to medium business energy efficiency programs, and that's what's really grown us to be this statewide organization. And we've served over 10,000, I think actually 14,000 businesses now in the last 10 years.
Is that
statewide.
Right? Wow.
Yeah, just last year I was looking at our statistics in the Monterey Bay Area. We served 206 businesses. They're saving 6.5 million kilowatt hours of energy each year.
My goodness, is that right?
That's like taking 300 cars off the road. So we're obviously continuing to deliver those programs here, but continuing to deliver those statewide, do better with them, help those businesses save even more energy is another initiative.
And I think that's an interesting component of your work that maybe people aren't aware of, is that your work is just not here in Santa Cruz, not even Santa Cruz County. You mentioned Monterey County, you mentioned statewide initiatives, those kinds of things. That's a very ambitious agenda.
Yeah, well, it's really, one of Ginny Johnson's themes throughout her tenure was really building to strengths. And what we were good is helping people take action. We figured out why small businesses weren't taking advantage of PG&E rebates. They needed a little more hand-holding. They needed their contractor selected. They needed to understand the return on investment for their cost share. And we figured out those pieces, parts, and really grew that. In fact, we're one of the statewide leaders in that type of work, helping small businesses, such that the Department of Energy invested in a grant to help us figure out how to not only do better, try and double how much efficiency we're getting in businesses, but then help other people around the nation figure out how to implement programs like ours. So we feel really proud about that.
And in your position, do you do significant outreach or public speaking when you go out and you're telling people about the programs that Ecology Action is in favor of or is engaged in?
Yeah, we're not advocacy, so when we do go comment in public, it's often providing more technical feedback on a plan or a program. We tend not to take positions on projects or programs out in the world. And where we do most of our speaking is in front of small groups as we engage them, like the school kids, maybe a small business owner, promoting the Green Business Program to the chambers, those kind of things. So that's mostly where we go out and do our public speaking. So our executive director, Jim Murphy, who's fantastic, our current executive director, is often behind the scenes, although where he's very involved in a lot of our energy efficiency programs, is going up and meeting with the CPUC in Sacramento and meeting with high-level PG&E and other energy industry executives.
Well, it's all about, wise use of energy, and to be able to make people aware that there are much wiser ways to use their energy and to make it more efficient for everyone, I think is important. Well, we have a few more minutes. What's next for Ecology Action? What are we looking forward to in the near future and in the longer term?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of our challenges is we have way more ideas than we have the resources or time to pursue. Have you found that?
With people like Nayeli on board, I think you can probably realize some of these wonderful near-term and long-term solutions. So yeah.
Yeah, so I think we've mentioned a lot of them. One of our high priorities is fiscally sponsoring the Friends of the Rail Trail, really helping to accelerate that. And we do have some current initiatives with that, but they're going to change kind of season to season. For example, we were very involved in getting the Santa Cruz Segment 7 private match pulled together. So
tell us a little. We have a couple of minutes. Tell us something about that.
Sure. So when these public agencies go to apply for grants, they need a certain amount of match to try and get state or federal dollars. And of course, they could raise that themselves. But if the community comes together and pulls together funding for that, and we're not the only organization in town involved in that. Bike Santa Cruz County and Land Trust are also very involved in trying to get things ready so these public agencies can go apply for that big grant money. And in a lot of cases, the city of Watsonville said, which we also helped with some private funding for their segment, that this was the first time they've had match coming for a grant coming from the community. So it really shows there's a lot of community support for it. Right now there's about 3.5 miles funded and moving forward with construction, and that's a segment in kind of downtown Watsonville, or the industrial area of Watsonville. The segment from the wharf out to Natural Bridges, and then they just found out they got notice of award for a FLAP grant to fund the North Coast section, which wouldn't quite make it to Davenport, but would definitely get out past Wilder. They won't know about that for sure. So this project is underway and it's happening, and we're prioritizing what are the next segments and coming up with funding and support to try and get some of the pre-planning done to get them ready for grant applications.
Well, it's no surprise to me, and I know probably no surprise to people who are familiar with Ecology Action's work, what a great thing that they're doing to make our community better in so many different ways. Kristen, it is wonderful to see you again. We had done some work in the past. Nice to see you. Welcome again, and we hope to have you back at some point to talk more about Ecology Action. Nayeli Ruiz, wonderful to have you here. Thank you for all your great works, and much luck with your work done in youth safety and biking in Watsonville. I think that's a terrific thing to be engaged in, and we look for great things from that. So thanks everybody for tuning in to this segment of Nonprofit Spotlight. We'll be back next month with another local nonprofit and raising your awareness and letting you know what they're doing as these fine people are here doing tonight. So thanks again for tuning in. I've been Steve Plach, and we'll look for you next time on Nonprofit Spotlight.